It's time for Monday with the Manager on 18 WJTS. I've made my way to Ferdinand, and we're going to be talking with Town Manager Chris James. Chris, good to have you here.
Thank you.
Or actually, we're in your home right now. We're in your council chambers.
Yes.
Coming up for Ferdinand, really the next big thing, aside from town events that are going on, is the Ferdinand Folk Fest in, 19 days or so. We're going to be shooting for that. It is what date and what time does it start?
It is Saturday, September 16th. It's always the third Saturday of September, and we'll begin the vendor booths are opening at 11:30 a.m., and that's when the music on the main stage will also begin, is at 11:30, and we'll run up until 9 o'clock-ish that Saturday night. And we've got a great lineup of performers. We're actually tweaking the main stage grouping again. We're going to be bringing as many of them who are able to be in town are singer-songwriter participants. We had the singer-songwriter showcase a couple of weeks ago, had 11 acts selected to perform. As many of those folks who their schedule will allow them to be in Ferdinand on that day, they'll get up on the big stage, and everybody will get at least one song in. Depending on the number, they may do two. I'm not sure on that, but we've got them slotted for about the first 45 minutes of the show, and then we'll slide into the bigger, more recognizable names in a way from that point through Joshua Davis as our headliner that night at 7:30.
Now, you mentioned two stages for folks that don't really realize it, that come and just go and sit in front of the main stage and don't move. There is another little stage set in the market area called the market stage, and that also has performers as well.
It does, and a lot of the singer-songwriter personnel will be taking their turns and doing a more traditional sets, 15 to 20 minutes of duration on the market stage. We usually have those folks play in between main stage acts, so we're not competing over trying to hear this song or that song. We alternate it as best as we can, and that way when one act is done on the main stage, that's when the market stage will kick in. And then about the time they wrap up is when the next main stage artist gets up there. The MC announces them all promptly and prominently, and then they go forward from there. So we try to alternate that so there's always music going. And a great thing about the market stage, Whole Sun Designs, one of our environmental vendors, it's a box truck, but it's equipped with solar panels. This is, I believe, the third year. The electricity, the power source for the market stage is actually that truck. So we're putting solar power to practical use. He's got all the connections. He runs his cord from the truck to the market stage, plug it in.
There you go.
And it's Mother Nature powered for the course of the day.
Now, almost from the very get-go, music was the root of the Ferdinand Folk Fest, and it continues to be a very important part of the Ferdinand Folk Fest. Obviously, it's what probably most people come for, and then they go, oh, there's a great market as well, and other things they can learn. But let's talk about the music this year.
Okay. I can't remember the specific order for everybody, and I apologize for that.
Fine, yeah. And who knows, we may change it that day anyway.
Yes, we hopefully not too much, but that has been known to happen as well. We've got Carrie Lynn and the String Get Up, also Tim Grimm and the Family Band. Southern Sirens will perform. They were our headline act, if you will, for the halfway show. They were a trio that day. They're actually a group of four, a quartet. One of them's schedules didn't allow her to be at the halfway show, but they're all going to be on board here for the Folk Festival. We also have Justin Johnson, Rachel Davis, who has performed at the Folk Festival in past years as well. And then Joshua Davis is our headline act. He, for folks who watch The Voice, he was a finalist, I believe 2 years ago, if my memory serves. So he's kind of our big name act this year, but something for everyone musically. Whether you want male vocal, female vocal, more of a group setting or a solo, there's going to be music for everyone all day long, and it's a free event. You come in, earlier the better to find a good parking spot. Go up on the hillside, kind of plant your flag, so to speak, get your chairs and your blankets out, and you're good to go for the entire day. If you have to leave and come back, trust that there's somebody watching your things on the hillside. But again, it's just a matter of finding a parking space. You're not going to get hit with a second parking charge or another admission fee. You just come in, find your place, and you're good to go for the whole day.
And the event is free, and hopefully it can continue to be free. That is so monumental.
We work very hard with our fundraising behind the scenes. I think folks would kind of be astounded a little bit how much work goes into raising the money to make sure it's a free show. Free, they just see free. And I tell people all that you have to spend if you wish is if you want to get one of the food booths or you pick up something at one of the arts and crafts vendors. That's the only money that in a sense you're guaranteed to have to spend. Otherwise, no parking costs, no cover charge. We've been getting emails in. Folks go to the website, FerdinandFolkFestival.com, and they say, well, I'm wanting to see more information about Justin Johnson. I haven't seen anything about ticket costs or pricing. Reply back, it's free, and let them know that. So haven't gotten too many responses back. I don't know if it just floors them that it's a free event, but it's free of charge. Just come, and whether you're there at 8 in the morning, set up on the hillside, or you show up at 8 in the evening, and good luck finding a spot on the hillside if you come in that late. But you're good to go, and no cost to you.
I don't know if we've ever had this problem, but if somebody brings tents, you really can't put tents up in front. You don't want to block.
Our preference.
The only tent we allow is a sound guy. Obviously, he has to have that.
Yes, Mark Headley, he gets priority because he's running the show. If he pulls the plug, then that takes care of the folk fest. So we keep Mark very happy. We actually at our last group meeting a couple of weeks ago discussed that. We're looking if folks do have pop-up tents. They can set them up along the tree side along 20th Street, which would be the north end of the facility and kind of along the tree line. And we'll kind of trial and error, see how it goes. And if they start to encroach a little too much out into the hillside, we'll come up and say, could you please move this?
Sure.
You're blocking view. But for the most part, folks, I think last year with some of the raininess issues, there were a few more in the middle of the hill, but for the most part, every year folks know, set up your chair. If you're tall, that's trouble for whoever's behind you. You can't shrink. But otherwise, chairs, blankets, you're good to go on that. Pop-up tents, keep them along the 20th Street side, the tree line facing 20th Street, and there'll probably be one or two early birds there, and then you can kind of follow the pattern of where they can go, and then if they get too far into the hill, we'll let you know, kind of scoot those back over.
Okay, and tell me if I'm wrong, but there's like 3 prongs to this. Music, we've talked about.
Yes.
Then there's art. Is that right? And then there is also environmental.
Yes.
Are those the 3 prongs, or am I missing a prong?
Those are the 3 prongs.
Okay.
No,
All right. Talk about the art a little bit.
The arts and crafts, we've got right now, I believe, about 40 vendors, all manner and style of things, wood crafts, bath oils, homemade candles, what they call steampunk jewelry, doll clothes. There's one lady who's been, I think, every year. She makes outfits for dolls and is one of the more popular vendors, I believe, every year. Just a little bit of everything. We've got someone who's going to be setting up a photography booth where they take the pictures and then they can frame it anywhere from a 5x7 to I think a 20x32. So if you've got a big old whopper that you want framed in, or you've got an idea for a photo, they can help you with that. We've got pottery, just a little bit of everything. And it's just a great selection.
And some of that we won't talk about, but some of the food itself is its own art.
Yes.
There
Yes,
is environmental connections as well.
Yes, we've got environmental and educational booths. They don't really have things for sale. They just provide information. And that, again, the solar power, like with Whole Sun Designs. We have folks there that talk about better ways of recycling, saving the trees, or better ways of clearing timber. So again, solar power, recycling, just all manner of things with that. Water conservation, waterway protections, just a little bit of everything. You can, if you've got an interest in it, I believe there's a gentleman from Evansville with astronomy. So you can talk about, you'll probably be able to talk about the eclipse. It was just a week ago, and then the nighttime, the actual nighttime sky and what you can see. So there's a lot of non-traditional aspects of things as well.
And basically it starts in late morning and runs to early evening, but for the most part it's done by about 9 o'clock, so people start heading home. And this is a Saturday all day.
This is an all-day Saturday. The food vendors, everybody vending starts at 11:30. We close all of the booths down, minus the food booths, at 6 p.m. mainly so they have enough working daylight to get back in, load their equipment and their materials, and get out while there's still good light to see by, so that they don't run over Bill as he's walking through looking for that last sandwich of the day. Make sure that everybody's safe in that respect. The food vendors, because they've got the electricity right off the fence, they usually go until about 8 p.m. And a lot of them, they kind of plan their food to go a little deeper into the evening to get that last wave of munchers as they get over for the headline act. And even some folks maybe taking off a little early, grab a bite to go and go that route. But by 9 p.m., unless we have extra encores or unplanned for schedule adjustments, the music's wrapped up. So it's still an all-day event, but you're not out to the middle of the night as you would be if you were going to one big gig up at Indianapolis or something like that. You get home, unless you're driving from pretty far away, at a respectable hour.
And one final thing to bring up is, and I know being off the stage a little bit myself, oftentimes people come up and go, well, they have CDs for sale. Can I buy some of their shirts and things like that? And yes, you do. You have the merchandise tent, and that's where after an artist performs, they take their music or their shirts and their merchandise and sell it there as well.
And a lot of times they're getting, we've actually expanded our merch area. We've doubled the spacing, so there's just more room for everybody. But what we started last year, and will continue with the individual artists, we've got a separate table for them, so they can set their materials up. We're not fighting space to sell our Folk Fest stuff and your CD and someone else's posters. It's kind of separate but equal, and they usually have one of their people manning the booth while they're performing, and then as soon as they're done and off the stage, then they'll come over to the table, and so you say, hey, I loved your stuff, can you sign this CD for me? And then they can do the autographs, and you take pictures and do that type of thing. So it's very fan-friendly and interactive with all of the performers. So it works out so you can kind of get close to, oh, that's Bill Potter, that kind of thing, and not be at a distance where you think, oh, I'd like to be able to say hi. You actually get a chance to say hi, get that picture and autograph.
Well, no one, by the way, has ever come up and asked me for my autograph or picture. But again, if we could recap the date, the time. The admission is free, but again, point that out. Come and go as you please.
Saturday, September 16th. All the booths open. The music begins at 11:30 a.m. and we run until about 9 that night. Anybody who wants to stay and help tear down afterward is more than welcome. We won't refuse volunteers on that. Our hours, those of us that put this together, we go a little bit later into the evening, but the actual fest itself, 11:30 till 9. Come early. Plant your flag, as it were, out on the hillside. A lot of folks start setting that up on Friday evening and otherwise they get there very early Saturday morning. They beat a lot of the vendors in that are setting up their stuff. They're out on the hillside making sure they've got that perfect spot to set up on the hillside and just take in the day as it goes. So come on out Saturday, September 16th, 18th Street Park. I don't think we mentioned that yet.
North side of Ferdinand.
Yes, the 18th Street Park. Look for the Community Center sign and just hook a left as you come in. And good luck on the parking. Community Center, I have to mention, they're always great. They leave that weekend, that Saturday, open on their schedule for parking purposes. Otherwise, it would be even fuller of vehicles than normal. They've been great to work with over the years to not schedule on that Saturday, so we've got all of their parking space available. And as we get into the deep part of the day, even up by the library and the YMCA, some of those parking spaces are also utilized if need be. So.
Even if you park at Forest Park, it's really not that far a walk. There's a nice little path right off of the parking lot there.
Part of the trail system of 18th Street, you can feed up into the high school parking lot. The only thing I think to watch for is if the band's having practice at some point, make sure you avoid them, and otherwise find a spot, park, walk down the hill, just follow your nose for the food and your ears to the music, and you're in good shape.
All right, Chris, thank you very much.
Thank you, Bill.
Chris James is the manager of the town of Ferdinand. The Ferdinand Folk Festival coming up Saturday, September 16th at 18th Street Park. See you there. Thanks for watching WJTS.